This is where I left off last week. I haven't done anything cabinet wise, but I've been doing some product purchasing and getting the faucet for the sink and receiving the pump and all that stuff. So that's been a chore, trying to find a sink with a spout that's high enough between the opening of the spout and the sink itself to give us enough room to actually make it functional and convenient to work with. Many of them are so low that a dinner plate in the sink, which the sink's only 5 inches, if you've got a 10-inch dinner plate or pot or something, you're going to be hitting the faucet and splashing it all over the place. So that was a chore to find a faucet that was reasonably priced and was certified and safe for drinking water and all that stuff. So we're going to pick up again. This is the next weekend, so this is the third weekend of working on this. The cutting board came in. I didn't cut it yet, but it will slide in the slot. I'm not going to cut it yet until I get everything situated with the drawers, and that's what we're working on today, is getting the platforms for each of the drawers here. And my plan is 3 drawers. I don't have the bottom 2 drawers. One of them, either I can make them both a little bit bigger, or whatever I end up with. The first one I want it smaller. That'll be for our silverware and cutlery and stuff. And then the second one will be, I think, like 8 inches deep. And then the next one, I'll either make it 8 inches, or if there's enough space, I can maybe add another inch or whatever, just to maximize the use of the space there. I got my 3 drawer supports done. They fit in here nicely. So I'm going to put the first one in for the top drawer and put that in with the pocket holes. I cut the board a little bit thinner than the one I used for the cutting board, because it hangs over the edge a little bit here. So I shortened it so it'll be even here, and then I could put drawer supports going across to here, to this beam, and then that's what the drawer will ride on. So I'm not putting slides in, metal slides. I got this board in place. I have it at the level. I squared it all off. I put a clamp on it so that it won't move, because I was having an issue with this top one moving. So let's see how this goes. Still using the screws that came with the pocket hole jig, and I don't know if it's me or the screws, but the heads just strip right off. All right, not too bad. I think that I might have screwed up on that one. I think this screw's going to be too long. Let's see. Yeah. All right, just back it out. Use one of the shorter ones here. It's all a learning process. So when I have to make a cabinet that's actually for in a house or something, hopefully I can remember all these things. All right. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, it came out a little bit. But this hole isn't any worse than what happened with the saw blade here. So again, learning curve or learning experience, and it's not really much worse than the brad nail holes here. And these holes are made, I made these bigger because I tried to put them in with the center punch, and it was just slipping off the heads and making the hole bigger. So good enough. I finally finished up with the screws that came with pocket hole jig, and I'm using my first ones from the ones I got from Lowe's. Fast and tight wood Madeira pocket hole screws, and they have the square number 2 square head, and it goes in like nothing compared to the ones from Harbor Freight. That's it. No jumping or skipping or sliding or anything. Right in like butter. I almost wish I didn't even try using these ones from Harbor Freight. They're so crappy. And here's the ones from Lowe's. I probably wasted just today 2, 4, 6 of them I wasted today, but they're done. There's still one size I have quite a bit of, but I'll probably still use them up. But these are well worth it, and they're not really all that expensive. I think this pack of 100 was, I think they were $7, and all the sizes are $7. They all have 100 in there, so I got one and a half, and 1 1/4. So if you want to save yourself a little bit of annoyance, just don't even use the Harbor Freight ones and go right with these ones here. Finally completed all the rungs here, all the supports for the drawer. This one's going to be an 8-inch drawer, and this one's going to be a 9-inch drawer. There was enough space, so I put these on the bottom just to, so it's not rubbing on the whole bottom of the cabinet, and be less friction. So that'll just be a little bit bigger. But so they're all square as far as I can tell. It's all square, and everything should be even. Hopefully it works out with the drawers. Don't have any tight areas, tight spots. So now we'll get going on the drawers. All right, next day. I got the sides cut for each drawer. Now I'm going to work on the fronts and backs, which they'll all each be the same width, but then no different heights for the appropriate drawers. And then I'll have to look at doing the bottoms. So it's pull this thing out and get started on the fronts and backs. All 3 drawers are now, the parts are cut out with my wonderful drawings. All three drawers all the pieces are cut for them. Here's my wonderful drawings. And the top drawer, which is the smallest one, I set up the router and I routed a 1/4 inch groove into the bottom of each piece, a 1/2 inch up from the bottom and a 1/4 inch deep. So now I'm going to join them with pocket screws. So that's what I'm doing here. And I got the first one drilled. I'm drilling into the front piece on each side to screw into the sides, because the sides are going to go like this. So I'll screw into that. And then hopefully I have some wood left over from projects that I think I can use for the bottoms without having to get anything special. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, I'll do this one and then the other piece, and I'll see about screwing them together. And then I have to cut the bottoms and try to get them to slide in here. Drawer number 1 completed. I did the pocket holes for the front and back pieces, and I put the back piece on and had the two sides open on this end. Then I have some wainscoting and some paneling that I got from someone that did a kitchen remodel, and they had some leftover materials. So I've been cutting them up and using them. By themselves, they're not thick enough, so I had to double it up. Anyway, it's finished, and you don't need drawer paper. So I doubled that up, measured it and slid them in. Put this piece on, slid it in, clamped it on each side, and then tacked it just with some 1-inch brad nails. I think they're 1 inch. And then that held it in place. And then I did the pocket screws, the 4 pocket screws. I used 1-inch screws. If you did 1 1/4, they just start to stick out a little bit. However, over here, for whatever reason, the screw came out through the corner here, and I think it was this one, not sure. One of them I did put a 1 1/4 inch, because I figured if it's that much of an angle, it'll have more space, and it did. So, but for the first time, I think it's good enough. So the thickness of this wainscoting was just shy of 1/4 inch, and it fit in here nicely, 2 pieces. However, I don't know if I'm going to have enough of this. I might have enough for 1 more drawer, but if not, I have a lot more of the paneling, which is a little bit thicker, and actually a little bit thicker, but not, I don't think it's strong enough for 1 piece. So what I'm going to do is double them up, but the 1/4 inch routed groove is a little bit too small. So I'm going to do the 1/4 inch groove and then just move the board, the stopper a little bit, and just put a little bit more in there, and then that'll make a nice fit for the double paneling. So before you assemble the drawers, I'm going to sand it, so it'll be easier to sand than when it's together. Plus there's some stuff here from the router. So I'm going to put 3 pocket holes in these drawers since they're deeper, and they'll probably have pots and stuff in them. Okay, it's a little, it chipped this up a little bit as it was going. I tried going down a little slower, and it doesn't look like it made too much of a difference. So this is going to be hidden anyway, but this layer here is just so thin. All right, so I got to do the other one here, and then we'll be ready to put the bottoms in. I got the bottoms already cut, so I'll get this other one done, and I'll put the two sides together with one of the ends, and then I'll get the bottoms slid in and start that assembly. All right, I got these one end on and the two sides. I clamped them together, made them even here, and now I'm just going to throw some brad nails in here. Okay, I could lift this clamp up here, and then throw some brads down here. And just run the screws in. So I'm using 1 inch. I found that it seems like a good idea to place the screw in the hole, because when I just started driving it, it went at an angle and kind of cut off and came out inside the drawer in the corner. So I want to make sure that they're in the holes. And again, these screws with the square heads go in so easy compared to the ones that came with the Harbor Freight pocket hole driller jig. Okay, I'm going to get the other screws in here, and then I'll start putting the bottom in. Now we're going to slide these in. I have 2, and I have the grain going across. It's thin wainscoting, but it is wood. So I have it going across this way, which is more sturdy. This way it bends more. However, it's not thick enough for one piece, so I'm putting 2 pieces together. And I did that in the other drawer, but I tried gluing that together, and I put the glue between there, and they ended up, I had to let it sit for about 20 minutes to set, and it kind of set, but it wasn't completely together, and then it was uneven, and then I couldn't get the boards together here. So I'm not going to glue this. I'm just going to slide it in. It feels a little tight. I don't know if it's going to buckle. Yeah, I'm going to trim a little off on these. I don't know why it's tight. I didn't move the blade on the saw, and I cut these pieces after I did the other drawer. So, all right, let me get that done. I did trim a little bit off of these because they were tight, but I also see right here in the corner, this isn't meeting up exactly. So this one was off a little bit, but I don't think it's going to cause a problem. I was able to slide it down in there. So this one looks like it's pretty much right on. I did notice that the top of this wasn't even. This part's a little bit lower, and it's actually a little bit of an edge here. So this board, for whatever reason, is a little bit off. Oh well, so let's get this piece put in. There we go, snap down in. Yep, okay. So let's see if this goes on now. Okay, so that's not really fitting, so I might have to trim this off. And I got that in. I had to trim like a 1/16 of an inch off, maybe a little more than that. So now it fits in there nice. I put the clamp on. This is nice and smooth. I'm gonna throw some brad nails into this. All right, now it's just the same thing with the screws. Put them all in there. Here's one that came through the corner a little bit. It felt like it was going in a little bit different than the other ones, but I already had it in. So, oh well. The other three are alright. Cool. All three drawers done. So this one has this design in it, and then this one has that design in it. Now I just have to put the door fronts on here, and these will be done. This whole area will be completely done. The only thing I didn't really think about over here was when the drawer is coming out, it can go like this. It can tip. No, so I'm gonna have to put something in between here for each drawer. Either that, or I can put a piece of the paneling, just tack it in onto these supports here, the drawer supports, because there's enough space for that and then that would close this whole side off, so the entire drawer area would be closed off, so no mice or anything would be able to get in there. And then this side would be the sink and the water and gray water bucket, which that doesn't really matter. So getting there slowly but surely.